Welcome to the Media Technology Program session with demonstrations brought to you by Pellissippi State College. First up, we would like to welcome Misha Goldman, Program Coordinator with the Audio Production Engineering Programs. Mr. Goldman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. So right now, I am sitting here at our Magnolia campus. This is actually one of our many edit suites, and they're designed for student use. They can log in and hang out, and this is one of our Moog rooms, and we have some Moog synthesizers here, and this is an example of what the students would use if they're doing sound design for a television show or a movie. Make some really cool sound effects. And so as I was introduced, I'm Professor Goldman. I'm the program coordinator for the Audio Production Engineering program at Pellissippi State Community College. And what I'm going to do is going to show you a video, and then you're going to see me again, and I'm going to introduce myself again, and then I'll show some highlights of what our students do in the audio production and engineering industry. And of course, the industry is very important for all of us. And we not only work in the music world, being on the other side of the microphone, but we also do a lot of stuff for TV, film, video games, sound design, live concerts. And so this video just shows a little bit what we do with broadcast for television and how important audio is in those productions, and also where it's important for us to work with other individuals in the media technology industry. So sit back, sit tight, and enjoy.
Do you have a love for music and sound, and an appreciation for the world of audio design? At Pellissippi State Community College, you can earn an Associate of Applied Science degree in Media Technologies with a concentration in Audio Production Engineering. This degree program educates students in the art of audio by equipping them with the skills of recording, sound design, broadcast, live sound, and production management. In APE, students will have an engaging, hands-on experience learning with cutting-edge technology and commercially popular equipment that is used by professionals in today's workforce. Whether your goal is to produce an album, set up for a concert, or even run your own studio, the APE program will provide you with a skill set to equip you for this growing industry. Start on your path to success today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mr. Misha Goldman, and I am the program coordinator for Pellissippi State Community College's Audio Production Engineering program, known as APE. One of the advantages of our program are our many collaborations with local industry partners. This gives the students real-world access and experience in audio production. I'm going to show you a video giving you a quick behind-the-scenes tour of one of our productions we co-produced with East Tennessee PBS, which happens to be next door to our Magnolia campus. Enjoy. Hey, come on. So we're here at East Tennessee PBS, and we're going through the sound check right now for Live at Lucille, so the Kenny Banks Trio. Here we are behind the scenes. World. This is audio for the audience, audio for the band, of course, monitors and front of house speakers. Let's go over the lighting world. Lighting world. Here's Jim, our technical director.
Hey!
For East Tennessee PBS.
Bullock here, our lighting designer. We'll go up to master control here. Here's Tim, our director, and here's Chris, our producer. Chris, say hi. Hey. Here's Tim, our director. Hola, ¿qué tal? All right, let's go into broadcast audio here with Mr. Jonathan Manis, mixing for us. Mr. Manis, tell us what you're doing.
I'm making it sound really pretty, though with this guy, it's not a lot of work.
It's got a beat, just can't. Yeah, you can dance
Can't
to
sit
it.
still. Thank you. Adios.
Well, be sure to tune in to Live at Lucille's. And we have a wonderful selection of music coming your way on East Tennessee PBS.
Thank you for watching our video about a day in the life of an audio production professional. Hopefully you were able to see just how many roles it takes to make a successful audio production happen. These roles include front of house, broadcast and monitor engineers, artist management, production management, producers, directors, and many more. All of these people must be effective communicators and collaborators to ensure a successful audio production. We hope to share with you the amazing world of audio production on campus safely at Pellissippi State Community College and the APU program someday in the very near future.
Well, thank you very much for joining us and letting us have the chance to show off some of our fun toys and the things we get to do. I enjoy my job very much. I get to work with wonderful students and wonderful colleagues and an industry and a profession I love and have a very strong passion towards. So hope you come and join us one day and make some noise. I'm going to hand the torch over to a wonderful colleague, Miss Melissa DeSantos, and she is our program coordinator for our design, web, and print. And obviously, we could not promote any of our stuff if it wasn't for her students and her department. So, Melissa.
Thank you, Misha. I always love going after Misha because all of the music and all the sound is incredibly wonderful. What he said is really true. So the media technology programs at Pellissippi, even though they're different flavors, they all work together very well. So you may get to experience an audio production class, even if you're a graphic design student, or you may choose to take an animation course, a web course, a video course. So you really get to experience a lot of different variations of what you can do in the field of media technology. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen with you guys. There we go. And pop all these different screens out of the way. So like we said, this is actually the Bagwell building on our Hardin Valley campus, and we hope to return there full-time very soon as it's safe. But so we have a wonderful building with lots of incredible equipment for you. So as a student, you and the Design for Web and Print program, or DWP, you'll work in a fully equipped Mac lab. So we work on these huge 27-inch monitor iMacs, and you just are able to experience all of the software and all of the technical fun stuff that we have to offer, because once you leave our program as a graduate, you're ready to step right in and be employed. So again, I'm Melissa, and if you want to reach me, here is my email, and I understand that all of our presentations will be made available to you guys. So all of the links, all of the emails, you'll have all that. So let's talk for a second about what is graphic design. I think the easier thing to say is what isn't design. So anything that you think of as commercial artistry. So, the restaurants you go to, the clothing you wear, the shops you visit, the devices that are in your hand, all of these things have been touched by design. Someone somewhere looked at a blank screen and had to come up with, what does this look like? What does this feel like? So that's what we do in graphic design. We help create visual identities for everything. Let's go on just a little bit. So what would it look like if you chose a career in graphic design? Well, most of the time you're going to be creating multiple types of designs using a lot of different media, but primarily a computer. You'll be communicating with your clients. A lot of times clients know they want something and they know they want it to look great, but they really don't understand how to create it visually. You may be a person that enjoys sketching or painting or sculpting, what we think of as the fine arts. And those are all wonderful. And they, of course, should be supported. I still paint. I love it. But one of the things that you can do with graphic art is you can take fine art and you can put it into context. What does that mean? So a fabulous painting may turn into a fabulous laptop cover or an iPhone case or it just goes on and on. So what kind of careers can you even have? These are honestly just a few of the careers, because once that you understand how to use the technology, the applications, where you can go with that knowledge is pretty much limitless. A lot of folks start off as a freelance designer, which means you can work literally anywhere that you have internet connection. So I've worked with clients all over the country without ever meeting face to face. So it gives you a lot of freedom. And many times, as you incorporate graphic design, you're also doing elements of web design. So they go hand in hand really well together. Most things that we create now in the design world have to live in both the digital or virtual space as well as the print space. So they go very well together. So let's talk about, what do you actually do, okay? So you communicate a lot with clients, coworkers. You're generally communicating via email or text or video chat. Most graphic designers, this is just a quality most of them seem to have. They enjoy organizing and managing their workflow. They've usually got a to-do list, even if it's only up here. There's so many variations with this job. But in general, you're going to create and edit pixel-based things. When I say pixels, I'm talking images. So that's a lot of Photoshop work. You'll create and edit vector artwork, which is more if you think about drawing on a computer. So that's Illustrator. And you'll do a lot of web layouts or print layouts. So how does that web page look? How does that brochure look? Maybe you're the dentist office, you're looking at a brochure. Is it easy to find information? Is it not so easy to find information? Our job is to help it be an easy process, right? And of course, you're always dealing with other people, either in your own office or other media technology professionals or your clients. And we also get into some code. So in design for web and print, we touch on web elements. We teach you how to do the beginning coding. So HTML5, CSS3, and we start to teach you how to make things look a certain way on a digital screen. All right, let's talk about this. So you're a student right now. What can you do to see if maybe it's just something you like? Maybe you like to draw. Maybe you like to look at different things on products or websites and say, that really looks good, or I think that could look better if they just did this. So one of the greatest things that you can do is just explore. There's so much information out there on the internet, and you can just start by Googling around. There's an awesome site called Behance, Behance, where you can look at professionals who've done graphic design work. You can look at students, do a little research, see if maybe this type of career, now the salaries will vary greatly. They can start anywhere in the higher 30,000 and then go all the way upward, depending on the part of the country you live in, the type of work you do, and how much experience you have. but there's almost limitless amounts of income you can make with this profession. So you can also ask the pros. Email me, ask the visual arts teachers in your school or your art directors. And you can also try out an app. So the Adobe Creative Cloud does come with a subscription cost, but you can try it out free for 7 days. They have student accounts that you can try out. So in the resources page on this presentation is a link to how you can download it and just play around in these apps. There's also some open source free software that's very similar. So if you want to try Photoshop, photo editing, you can try GIMP, Illustrator, Affinity Designer, and then if you like InDesign, maybe Scribus. So there's some alternatives to go in and start doing some work without actually ever having to buy a subscription to anything. So let's take a look at maybe what an illustration demo would look like, this program. So let's say you sketch this guy. Students sketch this guy. We're going to watch a really speeded up version of how you can turn this guy who's on your notepad into this guy who can be used in an animation, who can be used on a website, who could be used on a mobile app. Let's just watch just a few seconds of this one. So again, I gave you the link to the full one that is not quite this fast. But as you can see in Illustrator, we work with vector art. So what does vector art mean? Vector art just means that it's basically based on a mathematical algorithm. So no matter what size this particular vector drawing is, I can scale it. I can scale it to the size of a stamp. I can scale it to the size of an airplane, and it won't lose any quality whatsoever. So that's the beauty of vector illustration. And of course, you're going to hear from Kim McQuilkin very shortly how it can be used in animation. So I'm going to let him go for just a second here. But it's pretty incredible with learning just how to draw a few basic shapes. You can create almost anything. All right, we're going to let that go. And again, there's a link to watch it just a little bit slower. So I want you to see some actual work from students at Pellissippi. These were drawn using Illustrator. So very, very easy to see how books and things online become illustrated. You can see the work. This is a layout design. This student actually drew the images of the camera, then took photographs, then created layouts. So you can see that art is actually in context. And this was more for fun. This student photoshopped themselves into a movie poster. So there's a lot of really fun things you can do with these applications. And I really encourage you just to explore it. You don't have to be afraid if you've never opened one of these applications. It's okay, because as you go in and start to look at the tools, one great thing about the Adobe applications anyway, is that the tools pretty much look the same. And once you start learning how to use one set, you'll get the rest of them. So thank you guys. I appreciate your time listening. And I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Katie Lovett.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Lovett. I'm program coordinator for the Video Production Technology Department. I work with all these guys that you're talking to, or listening to, I should say. A lot of fun. Media is a lot of fun. We play, as most people say, we play more than work, but it's work. Just if you enjoy it, it becomes play. I bet you didn't know that Knoxville ranks third in the nation in most lists that is published for television production. And the only time we're beat is with New York and LA. So there's a lot going on that you probably didn't even know was going on. In video production, you can always also call it television production. There is a lot of careers in television production. If you want to get into filmmaking, you can start in television production because they all have the same basics. You have to learn how to use a camera. You have to learn composition, lighting, how to edit, how to even produce. In other words, put it all together, how to direct if you're doing multi-camera. And we offer that in video production. We offer the basics. what I have done is put together a video, not really about the department, but about the careers you can have in this industry. And what I've listed is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many careers, or positions, I should say, in this industry. Um, Sometimes people get in one area, and the next thing you know, they've enjoyed doing something else they didn't even train for, and they have to go get training for it. But I want to show you the video, and if you have any questions or would like to know more information, I will have the number at the end, and you can call me or talk to me, email me, and let me know, and I'll sure try to answer it.
It was the middle of the night. I heard the cough coming from the end of the hall. The smell of cigarettes was in the air, but it wasn't a smoker's cough.
Oh, detective, I have a cough, but I don't want to feel drowsy at work all day. Whatever shall I do?
I told myself not to get involved.
You are my only hope.
The only solution I could think of was Dayquil non-drowsy cough medicine 24-hour relief.
Oh, detective.
Another mystery solved.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to turn it now over to Kent McQuilkin. He is the program coordinator for the animation area.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kent McQuilkin, and as Katie just mentioned, I'm part of the video production technology program, and my job is to focus on the animation courses and the studies that we do. Now, we're also, as with everybody else, tied into the local industry and the studios and all the other animation outlets. And I know we're running a little bit short on time, so I'm going to hurry and show a little bit of the process of animation. But as Melissa said, a lot of our animation, we have both, like in design, we have raster graphics, which you can think of as kind of drawing and scanning in or taking a picture of your drawings that deal with pixels like photographs. But then we also have vectors, and we have two-dimensional vectors, kind of as you saw her building that graphic. That can be something that can be then taken into animation software and animated. But then we also have 3D graphics, which is also vector-based. And so that scalability without the worry about resolution is an awesome part of that. And so you can take a 3D model, for example, print it the size of a thumb drive, or you could print it the size of a car if you had a big enough printer. So let me share with you a little video about the animation process. And this is using our industry standard software. We use Cinema 4D, ZBrush, in this case Redshift, and After Effects are used for this. And it is sped up. It took about 3 hours to make this from start to finish. So please check out this video, and then we'll be hanging around for questions afterwards. So let me share this with you. You ask? Hello. Welcome to Creating a Character creation using the CG animation production pipeline. Who am I, do you ask? I'm Kent McQuilkin. I run the animation courses at Pellissippi State Community College as part of the Video Production Technology program. In this short presentation, we're going to walk through the process of building a character from scratch and take you through the entire CG animation pipeline. The CG animation production pipeline consists of modeling, texturing, rigging, animation, staging and lighting, and lastly, rendering. This includes compositing, where extra things, visual effects, color correction, and other adders are put into the final composition before final rendering. In the beginning, it's important to block out your character shape. Just like any phase of design, shape design tells the audience a lot about your character and their personality. Here I'm using our industry standard software for sculpting, ZBrush. From creatures such as King Kong and Godzilla to the Disney princesses. ZBrush is the leading sculpting and modeling software for creating characters and creatures. It is also the leading sculpting tool used for toy production. Companies like Mattel now sculpt their toys, their action figures and dolls, 3D print them, and then make molds of those for mass production. So here I'm just figuring out the shape and beginning to add the details needed to complete the basic shape of this character. Here I'll begin to add clothing and other articles to the character, including gloves and shoes. Once basic modeling is complete, it's time for texturing. Texturing not only allows us to add color, but it allows us to more define our characters with details that we can paint into these materials in order to complete the look of our characters. Again, design plays a big part in this, as color also is a big indicator to the audience about a character's nature and role in any narrative. Next up, after texturing, we move into rigging. Rigging is the process of taking a joint-based structure and skinning the mesh to that structure. So you're assigning parts of the geometry to the different joints. So for example, the lower arm joint controls from the elbow to the wrist, etc. It's very much like stop motion, more so than 2D animation. You're building basically an armature and a CG puppet that you can control and animate. Once we rig the character, now we can get into the animation. Animating these joints and these joint systems is how we're able to create character performance. In this case, we use what's called inverse kinematics. So it works kind of opposite to what we think of when we think about moving a puppet around in a stop motion sense. If you were animating, let's say, someone throwing something, you would use the normal mode of rotating the shoulder, then the elbow, then the wrist. In the case of inverse kinematics, it works opposite. You set up a joint constraint system, and then you're able to pull targets around, and all those joints react naturally based on your constraint. Here I'm using motion capture data and applying it to my joint system to create some really quick and fun animation. Now we get into lighting and staging. Kind of setting the scene, becoming the cinematographer. So here I'm just laying out some assets to help create the scene for my character, and I'm creating many duplicates of the character. What I'm using in this case is called an XREF. So I take a character, in this case I've taken 4, of which I've created 4 separate animations, and I'm creating basically instances of those characters that can be shared across multiple scenes. This saves me computer power and allows me to render a lot more of these characters at a much faster speed than if I'd actually brought in the physical models into this scene. Once we've figured out kind of the staging and the lighting, in this case I'm using what's called an HDRI image, a high dynamic range image, which actually allows me to take exposure values from the photograph and apply them as lights within my 3D scene. I'm using a very powerful GPU-based renderer called Redshift. And Redshift can really quickly give me immediate feedback as I spin around my scene, so I can see exactly how my characters and the environment is going to look under the current lighting situation. Now it's time to do final staging, working with the camera to get the actual move that I want to capture the animation in the scene that I've created. Once I've locked down the staging, it's time to render this out and see how it looks. As I mentioned in the introduction, rendering out of the 3D program isn't the final step. In most cases, you're going to take it into a compositing program and do another rendering where you add things like color correction, sometimes more visual effects or really different modifiers to make this look like something totally different. Here you'll see 3 different examples of how I could take this one render out of the 3D program and create 3 totally different looking animations. These infusions of color correction and visual effects really help to tell a different narrative just based on those added values. And voila, we have our final movie ready to be shared and viewed by an audience. At Pellissippi State, we pride ourselves of being close partners with the industry. All of our animation faculty, as you'll see in the other media technologies, are working professionals. We have great relationships with studios and other animation outputs locally, and we offer our students a chance to do internships where they can get that first-hand experience in the field. Animation is a growing field both locally, regionally, and across the country. It's a great and fun way to make a living. If you're interested, please take time to reach out to me. I'd be happy to tell you more about our program, and you can look us up on the website at pstcc.edu. All right, thank you very much, and I'm going to see if I can quit sharing my screen. Let's see, maybe if I quit the video, that will force it to stop.
That's all the time we have for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll answer them the best we can. We would like to thank everyone who spoke today from Pellissippi State Community College. Thank you and have a great day.
Tell them on Zoom. So.